Hello young scholars. Today's video is going to be about social studies, or in other words, the social sciences. So what you're going to see today are some vocabulary words that have to do with social studies. Basically, there are 8 fields within social studies, or the social sciences. First one is history. People who study history are called historians. They study past events and human behavior. There's a major emphasis on cause and effect of events and behaviors. We're going to focus a lot on cause and effect in our class this year. So some sample questions that historians might ask are, why did the Roman Empire collapse? And what effect did this collapse have on the people living in the empire? Now the pictures you see below are just some examples of historians. On the right is a very hipster-looking historian researching things in the news. And then on the left is a group of historians doing research on what looks like some kind of paper from the past. The next field in the social sciences, or in social studies, is geography. People who study geography are called geographers. They study the Earth's surface and physical features, the climate, products, and population. So some sample questions a geographer might ask or try to answer are, how is it possible for civilizations like Egypt to survive in the desert? And what have humans done to adapt to living in harsh climates? So as you can see in the pictures in the bottom, geographers might go to an actual location to study it, or they could use maps and historical data to study past civilizations or present civilizations. The next field in the social studies is economics. People who study economics are called economists. They study how humans use resources. So one resource, for example, could be money, as you see in the picture on the bottom right, but it could be more than that. It could be the natural resources that occur in their environment. Some sample questions that economists might ask are, why are gas prices so high? What can be done to lower the price? Is the outsourcing of workers overseas beneficial or detrimental to the United States? Another field in the social studies is called sociology. People who study sociology are called sociologists. Sociology is the study of social groups and how they develop. In other words, it's the study of how humans group themselves and what happens to those groups. So, for example, questions that sociologists might try to answer are, does drug addiction affect low-income communities more than high-income communities? Or possibly, why is Snapchat so popular among high school students? So in these questions, they're asking about people groups, low-income versus high-income communities, or high school students. Another aspect of social studies is anthropology. People who study anthropology are called anthropologists. Anthropology is the study of human origins, customs, and beliefs. So some sample questions an anthropologist might try to answer are, what was life like for families during the Paleolithic era? Or maybe, why did India develop a polytheistic belief system like Hinduism? Now, anthropologists, as you can see in the pictures below, could study remnants from the past. They could study past humans, as you can see, studying bones and things like that to see how humans developed over time. But anthropologists could also do studies of civilizations and humans in the present and their customs and beliefs. As you can see on the right, there's a man sitting here with a group of children. He's studying a people group that is not his own, and learning about their customs and their beliefs and what their traditions are. The next social studies is called archaeology. This one you probably heard of before. A person who studies archaeology is called an archaeologist. Archaeology is the study of civilizations by excavating and examining their material remains. So you can see in the pictures in the bottom, there are some archaeologists excavating or digging up the remnants of a city on the left, and on the right, an actual artifact, some kind of pottery. So a sample question that an archaeologist might try to answer is, what can we learn about ancient Sparta by studying pottery that still remains? So they're looking at the actual remains, their physical material remains, and trying to learn about what life was like for those people based on those artifacts. The next social science we have is called political science. People who study political science are simply called political scientists. Political scientists study governments and their actions. So some sample questions they might be concerned with are, was the Code of Hammurabi an effective system of law? Or maybe, should the Electoral College be abolished? Political scientists can study all types of governments, not just the one in which they live. It could be from other countries and civilizations. Of course, it could also be from the past as well as the present. The last aspect of social studies, or the social sciences, is called psychology. People who study psychology are called psychologists. Psychologists study the mind and how it works. So some sample questions for a psychologist might be, how does stress impact student GPA? Or why do some students decide not to go to college? A lot of times they're studying why humans or why people make certain decisions. Again, this social science can be practiced on current humans and civilizations in the present, but it can also be used to reflect on the past and how past individuals and groups made certain decisions and what affected it, what affected their thought process. So in conclusion, you need to know that all of these different fields of study are within the social studies: history and geography and economics, sociology and anthropology and archaeology, political science and psychology are all facets of the social studies. And we're going to be doing a little bit of each of these throughout our year. We'll rely more heavily on some more than others, but you're going to see all aspects of the social studies within our class this year. If you need to go back and review this video, I would highly encourage you to do so. You can pause it at any point that you need to, copy down definitions, and take some notes. Also, please write down any questions you have at the end of the video that we can clear up in class.